Hello everyone, I'm Shadave the reviewer. Last time, I reviewed the Sly collection for PS Vita, and this time, I'm gonna be taking a look at Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. I'm going to split this review into two parts. Part 1 is going to be about the story, and part 2 about the gameplay. Why? You'll see. But first, a little history lesson. In September of 2002, a little-known title called Sly Cooper and the Thieves Raccoonus was first released for the PS2. It was made by Sucker Punch, the company that is best known for the infamous series on PlayStation 3 and 4. Sly Raccoon was a pretty linear jump and run, with great controls and lots of variety in gameplay. 2 years later, Sly 2 revolutionized the series with its more open world and 2 additional characters. And in 2005, Sly 3 perfected the formula. Then, Sucker Punch left the series, and for a long time we didn't hear anything about a new release. Until 2011, that is, where we got the Sly collection for PS3. And if you had the retail version of the game and beat all the games on it 100%, you got a little teaser for Sly 4. But it was not made by Sucker Punch, but rather by Sanzaru Games. At E3 2011, Sanzaru showed off the first gameplay trailer, and it looked like shit. Luckily, more trailers followed and brought back my faith in the game. Then, after being delayed twice, it was finally released, and I got it day one. The game starts with the gang breaking into a museum. Sly has to steal a dagger from feudal Japan, for reasons that are later explained. After only barely escaping the cops by traveling back in time, a short flashback reveals our mission. Apparently, the pages of the Thieves Raccoonus are erasing themselves, and that's because someone traveled back in time and did something to Sly's ancestors.
Okay. Stop right there. If someone actually went back to the past and captured Sly's ancestors, that would cause a time paradox, not just a few letters to disappear. Great, we're only 15 minutes in and already the first nonsense moment. Trust me, it's not the only one.
So we find out that Ryoichi Cooper, Sly's ancestor from feudal Japan, is held prisoner by El Jefe. We don't get to know the actual reason why until the very end of the episode. Speaking of the episode, it's boring. All the missions are very easy, but that wouldn't be a problem if we had a real reason to do all these easy missions. For example, why did we have to activate the sushi restaurant? I thought they didn't want El Jefe to take notice of their presence. Speaking of El Jefe, he's probably the most boring villain in the entire franchise. He has almost no personality whatsoever. When I killed him, I didn't care a bit. That's stupid. I always had some sort of emotion towards the enemies. Whatever, El Jefe is defeated, an airship arrives with some rats, which take Ryoichi's staff with them, and they leave a sheriff's store. By using that star, the gang travels forward to the Wild West. There, they have to free Tennessee Kid Cooper. He was captured by Toothpick the Armadillo. Toothpick has more personality than El Jefe, but he is so poorly voiced in the German version, he ended up being annoying. So Sly frees Tennessee from jail, somehow meets Carmelita, gets thrown into jail himself with the entire gang, so Tennessee and Carmelita come to their rescue. They get Tennessee's gold and their van back from a train. Tennessee's cane is taken away, the rest of the gang flies down a cliff, but Bentley grabs Murray's necklace, throws it into the time machine, and rescues them by transporting them to the Ice Age.
And for some reason, there are dinosaurs. Dinosaurs in the Ice Age. Please, Sanzaru, at least try to be realistic.
On a scouting mission, Sly stumbles upon his oldest ancestor, Cooper. His cane is taken away by the Grizz, a wannabe rapper and
It's okay to be gay, let's rejoice with the boys in the gay way.
So yeah, Sly frees Bob and stops the Grizz from whatever he is doing. Then they use the Grizz's crown to get to the next time period. So all of a sudden the gang is in medieval England where they have to free Sir Gareth Cooper. Can you see the pattern here? Seriously, why do we have to rescue them all? I mean, they are Coopers, and especially Sir Gareth, he could have escaped himself. But this is not the only problem. In this episode, Sanzaru has decided to do something really stupid. The villain of this episode is called the Black Knight. Now, you think that's not a problem, right? Well, think again.
Much better. I can barely think in that thing.
It's not possible.
No! Sanzaru ruined the character of Penelope just for the sake of having a plot twist. And the explanation for why she did it is just as stupid. You wanna know what it is? Money. He literally left Bentley and the rest of her friends for money. Guys, Penelope is supposed to be a smart character. She would never do something as stupid as this. This is where I gave up believing in the game. This is the point in the game where I knew that this was a failure. So Bentley is not playable for the rest of the episode, which makes sense in the context, but in the end he realizes that he has to get over Penelope and helps his real friends instead. At last, the gang travels to ancient Arabia to find Salim al-Kupar.
Yes! Finally a Cooper that wasn't captured! Oh, what's that? Instead, we get to rescue 3 of his friends, one by one. So beautiful.
These guys were imprisoned by Miss Decibel, an incredibly untalented musician that started a criminal career after a tragic event from her childhood. So, 3 rats and some incredibly annoying quests later, we find out that Cyril the Paradox broke up with her and...
The paradox. I got it, guys. Good one. I'm out of here. Nothing more to do.
So where was I? Oh yeah, he leaves her behind in the past. But since we, the gang, are gentlemen, we help her overcome that tragic loss. And how do we do that?
We beat the shit out of her.
Aren't we just some nice guys? After that, they head back to the present days. How exactly does that work? According to the game's logic, they would have to have an object built at the exact moment that is the present. And aside from the fact that that's not even possible, the time travel process itself would take up too much time, so they would technically be stuck in the past for at least a few minutes. Unlogic plot point aside, Sly goes onto Le Paradox's airship and gets trapped. Meanwhile, Bentley and Murray went back to the past and got Sly's ancestors to the airship, where they retrieve their canes and free Sly. Apparently they have all already been to a giant flying fortress with a lot of poison gas and electricity, because none of them comments that. When Sly gets out of the prison Le Paradox put him and Carmelita in, he starts fighting despite being well aware that the ship is going to crash in a few minutes. And after the admittedly cinematic fight, he pays the price by being sucked into a time portal. The game ends with a cliffhanger, so we'll probably see another game in the future. But let me be honest here, this story blows. It's full of nonsense and character betrayal. This is a crime against the entire fan base of Sly Cooper. And they said in many interviews that they were fans themselves, so how could the writer get through with this? Tune in next time when I talk about the gameplay. Let's hope that one's a little better. Till then, Chaos Control everybody.